It's time that I share 3 aquarium things that I gave up in 2022, and one of them is Instagram. Well, welcome back to the small Scape, and yes, there are 3 things that I gave up in 2022, most recently in the last couple of months. A couple of them I've been a little leery of sharing, just because I wasn't sure how I felt about it and how I was going to share, but I think you guys are going to understand, and let me know with all these 3 things that I gave up on, let me know what your thoughts are. If you would do the same, if you would do it completely different, and if you've done likewise. So the first one was, yes, Instagram. I haven't posted much for the last month or 2. I have heard of people taking social media breaks, and I didn't really understand why, but when I did it, it was better for me for 3 reasons. The first of which is, personally for me, if I get too many ideas coming in, if I'm always looking at other people's scapes and just always constantly looking, I'm just doing drawing after drawing after drawing after note after note, what different scapes I want to do, and that's all I'm doing. I'm not actually creating scapes. So too many ideas for me is just overwhelming. The second thing is, the more time you're spending on something like Instagram, Pinterest, for those of you who are on Facebook, I'm not, but I'm sure that's the same thing. You're spending all your time looking at other people's ideas and you're not coming up with your own. So more time looking and just looking at other people's, and less time doing for yourself and in your own home, in your own space. And then the third thing I would throw out there, and I don't know if this resonates with anybody, but if you are concerned and you're posting or you're not posting on, say, something like Instagram, for those of you who are YouTubers, if you struggle with that as well, are you posting things that you think other people will like? I was doing that for a while, trying to think of, well, what kind of scapes would other people like? Whereas that's a good idea. You definitely want to share things that other people will enjoy. There's nothing wrong with that, and I like to do that as well. Do you like it? So if you're spending all the time thinking, are other people going to like it, and you yourself don't like it, you may want to kind of scale back and figure out what your style is and what you like. Because if you put out something that somebody else really, really likes, everybody likes, but you don't like, what purpose is that? So those are my 3 things to share for the beautiful pictures of the world in Instagram and Pinterest, and why I kind of took a little bit of a break. I am anxious to get back in the new year though, with lots of fun ideas and new scapes that I have coming up, and I think it's a nice little recharge for the brain too. Number 2 is what I've most recently given up in the last couple of months, and this surprised me to no end. We removed all of our aquariums from the first floor of the house. We had them in the kitchen, we had them in the living room, multiple ones in the living room. We were getting ready to set up a very large aquarium in the kitchen. We took out the 2 that were on the counter, and we were going to replace another freestanding one and get a stand and all that, and a large one. And we just eventually decided, no. For me, the more I see aquariums around me, the more I'm thinking, well, I need to tweak that. I need to fix that plant. I need to fill up the water. I need to, there's an algae issue in that tank, or, oh, I really want to add a fish in there. It's like no mental break, no kind of, if you want to consider it like a negative space, and having your mind and eyes rest so that the scapes and all the ideas that I have can kind of just be in here and not just constantly looking at maintenance issues and just things that need to be done. Plus, with the holidays coming, and I don't know about you, if you live in a small house like we do, there was really no room for any kind of holiday or seasonal decor. So the more tanks that you get, the less space that you have for, well, actual functioning. If you put tanks on your kitchen counter, just know that that's taking up space for, I don't know, your blender, your mixer, decor, food preparation, all that fun stuff. But for right now, we did remove all tanks from the first floor. And right now, it's working out very well. Will other tanks in the future pop up? You never know, quite possibly. But for right now, no tanks on the first floor. Who knew? Now for my third thing that I did give up in 2022, and those of you who watch Primetime Aquatics and are members, you probably already know this, but there's no more Nano Nook. Well, there is a Nano Nook, but I did give it up to Mr. Primetime because of certain issues that we struggled with since we set up the Nano Nook. And if you are familiar with the history of it, first it was just a wall of I think it was up to 20 tanks. It was nearly impossible to video, have me in front of it and just kind of show it. It's a very narrow space, so we created an L, which actually didn't help it at all. There was still really nowhere to put the camera. There was also like kind of a weird angle that we'd have to shoot it on, and there was always the humidifier that was in the shot, so it was very difficult to video. And Mr. Primetime needed some tanks, spaces, some smaller tanks to quarantine fish. So what we decided on was, yes, I would give up the Nano Nook for his quarantine area, and I would move out to the general population. That's right. I'm now responsible for 6 tanks, and of course my little tiny bookshelf tank that holds my yellow shrimp, but I have 6 tanks in the general population. And it's a nice block of 20 gallons, 29 gallons that I will eventually be scaping here pretty soon. And that's where all my little occupants went in too. So not only have I, and this comes with your changes in what you like, you know, just your hobby will change and what you like, what you don't like, but I've gone to more, like, I really do like the 20 gallon size, and I like the community tanks. So I like combining a lot of my fish. So a lot of my little fish that were separate are now swimming together, and it's really fun to see. What's really fun too is that he's given me free reign, although I suppose I really had kind of free reign to scape any tank in the fish room, but now it's kind of official that I'm lumped in with the general population, and I can just scape any tank I want. And then if I want to move some of my fish, we can kind of figure that out. And it's just kind of fun. So I do have a little bit more flexibility on adding fish in different tanks, and it's just gonna be a lot of fun for the new year. So those are 3 things that I have given up in 2022. Let me know your thoughts. Have you ever gone through anything like this, wanting less tanks or more tanks or moving tanks to a totally different area of your house? Or how do you deal with if you have a significant other, your spouse has tanks too? Do you kind of divvy up, like, who's got the space? Do you share the space? Like, what do you guys, what would you suggest to other people who are going through the same issue? Curious to know your thoughts. But thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.